Back to BCB Live, we're the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. Can you introduce our special guest to us?
Absolutely, Ingrid Brown. And by the way, you are truly the host of America on the 18 Wheels, correct?
That's correct. Good morning, guys. Thanks
Hey,
for
good
having
morning.
me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, where are you from?
I am from right outside of Boone, North Carolina, up in the top of the Blue Ridge Mountains, right on the Tennessee-North Carolina line.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, North
Right
Carolina,
on it.
I know. It sure is pretty country up there.
Thanks. This is where I'm born and raised, and I'm still living on the farm and actually own the farm that was actually my grandfather's.
So what do you farm, if I can hear it? Because he's a rancher himself right here, claims to be.
Well, this farm used to be an apple orchard way back years and years, and all the trees are out. And I had Christmas trees. I cut the last ones, not last Christmas, the year before, so it's been 2020, and I haven't replanted. So really, right now it's kind of sitting in hayfield, and we're cutting hay. And when I'm home, let me say they're cutting hay. I'm not cutting hay.
I can respect that. Hey, Ingrid, talk to us, so our listeners, a little bit about who you are. And I want you to go into the length of you've been driving, as a truck driver in a transportation industry. Talk to me about, where you came from and to where you are today.
Like I said, I was raised here on the orchard, but my dad and my uncle had a large road construction company. So I grew up around heavy equipment and paving crews and asphalt plants and concrete plants. And so, of course, I learned to run heavy equipment and drive trucks. So that was my very first start of driving trucks. I knew I didn't want to stay around home when I got to go to our plant in Daytona, and I was like, I don't want to stay home. I want to see the highways. I want to see the roads. I want to see the country. So, I set out and did that. I did regional there for a long time, for quite a while, and then I came back out on the road in running California in the 90s. So career started in 1979. So I'll let you figure that one out. I was 18. Yeah. So I've been here. I've been my owner operator side, of course, independent, ran my own authority, and have basically done it just solely by myself all through the years, all but about 6.
And another thing I saw here, in a notation here, it says you have 4.7 million safe driving miles. That is
Amen.
Thank you.
That right there, that warms our heart to even talk about that. And you just don't get that by accident. And I don't mind the pun. You don't get to 4.75 million by accident. So talk to us a little bit about safety.
I'm a safety guru nut of my own safety first, of course. And then, I like to share how this works. I think you can see that through the FMCSA safety side on Our Roads, Our Safety campaign. But as far as for me, it's about how do I operate a vehicle? That's the very first thing. Because I'm not only keeping myself safe, I got to look around and watch everybody else is trying to run over me, and situations that happen that put me in situations that I need to avoid. And it's basically being a defensive driver. It can't be just being a good driver. You have to be a defensive driver. And being defensive means driving for that other person that's going down the road in front of you, and the one beside of you, and the one behind you, and you're kind of multitasking in all kinds of ways being that defensive driver. But that's the way that I have to drive. I have to drive as far as I can see down the road.
How are when you talk to other drivers about that, about safety, about how to conduct yourself on the road and what you do on the road, what's the reception like in general?
In general, everybody agrees. We aren't just driving our own trucks. And you hear everybody say, drive your own truck. Well, we wish we could just drive our own truck. It would make a day so much easier. But everybody agrees that, it's not about just driving your own truck. You've got to watch out for everybody. You got to make sure when you roll up to a stop sign, or you roll up to an intersection or stop light, that everybody's paying attention and they're going to stop. because you're going to be the one that's going to be the biggest one that's going to make the biggest collision with if they don't stop. So paying attention and watching out and watching other drivers, everybody is on the same page with that. Of course, we all complain. I don't care if you're in a truck or you're in a car about the traffic on the road. Somebody cut me off. Somebody didn't let me in. Somebody ran off the ramp in front of me. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter how safe of a driver you are. It matters about how you react to those kind of situations. And I think so many people are doing that, and we all discuss it. I mean, safety is a really hot topic, even when you're sitting around the vacuum out at Barstow, California at Little Sisters. Somehow safety comes up in a conversation.
Did you when you do that? So when you go out and you talk to people, because you're actually a big voice for truckers and trucking. You're a woman in trucking that has been in a male-dominated industry for a long time. How is the challenges that you've done then compared to today?
I think the biggest one was, I wasn't sure when I came in how the trucking industry was going to be different than the construction industry, being the only female. Because, basically when I came out, I felt like I was the only female out here in trucking. But I grew up from the time I was born in a totally male-dominated world. So it's, the changes were, I realized I didn't have to wait to be respected. I just had to do my job. As long as I did my job, I still could ask people for help. None of this has changed to today. I can ask guys, hey, guys, I can't get this pin pulled. Do you mind helping me out? A lot of it is the fact that I tried to do it myself to start with. I tried my best to do the best of my ability at my job. And these guys see that. They recognize this. I don't have a lot of problems with the guys going, oh, go home, get back in the kitchen. You don't really hear a lot of that anymore.
That's awesome. Hey, Ingrid, first I want to congratulate you because you were chosen the FMCSA Voice of Safety for the Our Roads, Our Safety campaign. Congrats. I want to hear about that. But I also want to hear a little bit about the successes and challenges we've seen as an owner-operator over the last 12 months. And when you think about that, boy, we have seen the highs of revenue, the highs of rates that we have ever seen in the industry. And then we had that war back in March, and all of a sudden, we still had high rates per se, but it was being eaten up by fuel that was strong enough to start putting independent contractors out of business. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think it changes everybody's model. If you own a small trucking company, I don't care if it's 1 truck, 5 trucks, even 25 trucks, it changed your whole operating model. It changed everything that you had probably planned and pre-planned down the road for 5 years or 1 year or 10 years or where you wanted to be in the future, because you realized that we all realized that when everything's, literally did a fruit basket turnover in the industry, that it was going to hit us hard. It's going to hit the independent owner operators and the small carriers harder than anybody, because they, we don't have those big contracts as independents. We don't have, a lot of people jumped on and started running spot market and all the load board freight, and, the money was there. And then you had so many that came into the market, new entrants, by the thousands. And, we all that have been in the industry long enough, and those that haven't still could find this information listening to y'all, going to FreightWaves, Sonar, things like this. There's so many things to find this out. We all know every time it's going to flip. It's going to flip back. It's not going to stay this way. The only ones that are going to make it are the ones that can literally have their locked in with the good broker that has contracts. They're locked in with the direct shipper that has good freight. Those are the ones that's really going to survive this, or those that really have this huge nest egg and, they're able to make do, but they're going to feel like they're starting all over again when this flips again.
Yeah, I think last year we had like 100,000 new entrants into our industry, and I refer to it really kind of like the oil field business, except it was over the road. Right. All of a sudden, you had everybody entering in a market that was that the rates were crazy. Everybody was making money. You didn't matter how much a truck cost, a trailer cost. None of that really mattered last year. You had enough money, and then like the oil industry does, it kind of tanked off, and then all of a sudden people are reeling out. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you could make bad mistakes and still make good money back then.
Exactly.
You didn't have to run a good business to make great money back when the rates were just exploded. You just thought you were doing it right, but when it turns, those mistakes come to light. Those difficulties and those costly errors that you make, they come to light, and they really punish you in the ability to make good business decisions.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people went and overextended themselves for the situation that this is. And where, like I said, if you've been in the industry, and especially if you've been in all of our shoes, which y'all are too, is that those rainy days are going to come. You're not excluded from this, and the highs are highs, but the lows are even lower. And when you take those highs and you think that you're on top of the world and that's where you're going to stay, it's, when it bottoms out and you fall to the bottom again, it hits a lot of people hard because they made some decisions. Like you said, equipment is just outrageous. Used equipment just went sky high crazy, which you all know. But I think that's where a lot of the problem is going to be, is where everybody made some decisions and some choices at that time, instead of maybe keeping some of that back for those rainy days, and when the bottom fell back out, that they're going to struggle.
Okay, I have a quick question.
Okay.
How do you get a travel center named after you? What is it you do? I've been on the road a long time. How do you get a Petro to name themselves after you? What did you do? Who did you save? Or what pictures do you have on somebody? I want to know how do you get a travel center named after you?
Oh, you're going to make me cry laughing. Actually, TA Petro has a program called the TA Petro Citizen Driver Award, and I was nominated. And you go through this like 9-month long background checks, and I'm talking, they know my grandchildren's shoe sizes, I'm sure. And then once this is done, and they probably do, I promise they do, they do all of your community service, health, what you've done in the industry, your safety record, personal, all kinds of references. It's really, really in depth. It's just not, hey, I see this face here, let's grab this face and give them an award. And then once this is done and you're awarded this, then you can choose your TA Petro. And a lot of people are like, Ingrid, why did you choose Oklahoma? I mean, what is Oklahoma? You're from North Carolina. Why didn't you choose something close to home? And I say, in 2017, I was one of the trucks that helped take hay out of Michigan on the West Michigan wildfire relief. And we went to Gates and Knowles, Oklahoma. And it was unreal. I mean, when we got there, you're looking at people that lost their everything. I mean, you're looking at farmers that can't rebuild. They can't go back out and go to work for a company, like we can as a truck driver. But, I went on a ranch with an 85-year-old man and woman that lost 6,000 head of cows and their house. And it was horrible. And they never complained. They never once ever said anything about complaining. They were grateful about life. I mean, these people, and when we went to the community center, the whole community was like that. And I'm like, why can't our industry and whole country be like this? Everybody needs to take lessons from this. And I didn't know any other way that I could give back or know how much that meant to me than just to recognize the state of Oklahoma and the people that are there. And it was pretty neat. The Secretary of Ag and a couple of them came down there. They came to they changed the signs and stuff. And it was pretty neat. But the people really just made my choice really easy. Whenever they said pick one, and I'm like, Oklahoma City, I'm going there. Because I go through there anyway.
That's a nice story.
Phenomenal story. Thursday for us here at BCB Live, and when we do that, it's also called Thankful Thursday. And it gives us that opportunity to say thank you. And And Ingrid, I was going to say, you just did that for us today, talking about those fine folks in Oklahoma. Phenomenal story. And then also you gave us some background that says that's why Dave will never have a store named after him. Way too many background checks for him to ever.
Yeah. They just need to do a preliminary and I'm out. They just ask me. Don't put my name up on anything. It's not a good idea.
Hey, but Ingrid, we're going to be at Women in Trucking coming up in November. Hey, talk to us a little bit, because I know you're going to be there. You're going to be busy, but talk about your involvement also in Women in Trucking.
I met Ellen back in 2003, so we've been good friends since then. And when she started Women in Trucking in 2007, of course, I'd already heard about it and knew that I wanted to be a part of it. So, I've been there since day one. In 2015, they started the inaugural team. What that is, it's the inaugural image team, excuse me. We are a group of ladies. We started out with 5, and it was really crazy because the application process went through, and we were sitting there waiting it to be announced. It's a salute for Women Behind the Wheel in Mid-America Truck Show. And I'm like, I'll never make it, because it's going to be, the sponsors and the big corporations, and I'm one little truck. And I'm sitting there, and they get the first 4 up, and there's one spot left, and I'm like, oh, well, my little brother's sitting beside of me. He lives up in Louisville, and he's sitting beside of me. And Jeff with Walmart, the VP of safety, is sitting beside of him. And Lana calls my name out, and I screamed. And about the time I screamed, I stood up, and I jumped over my little brother, and I landed in Jeff's lap. And it was like trying to get me out of the middle of the floor of the aisle. It was horrible. But anyway, we go and we do press interviews. We do the governmental rides. We do anything of, helping the mentors, the welcome notes. Allison does those to the new members that come into Women in Trucking. We assist at things like the Accelerate program, which is November 13th through 16th. Actually, 12th through 16th is what I like to say, because you got to start a day early. And it's just fabulous. I mean, it's a wonderful place. It's not just for women, of course. And I did my show last week was on with Andy, who is a director of engagement, driver engagement. And she's really interesting to learn about. She's new with us, but she's doing amazing things with our Girl Scout badge program, the Whitney trailer, which is now complete, and it will be at the Accelerate, and it'll be inside. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there.
Yeah, when we do get there, we will take the opportunity to have you on the show. We're going to be broadcasting live from there, and we're going to make sure that we have you on as a guest to talk a little bit about Women in Trucking at the conference. We're excited for that, about what's coming up. Let me ask you a quick question. You said you are the voice of safety on Our Roads of Safety campaign. Can you tell me what that is real quick?
Real quick, I was chosen by FMCSA, and I took my own truck and trailer up, and we did all the video for the new campaign called Our Roads, Our Safety. What that does is they also did the photo shoots. I'm on billboards, PSAs, radio, TV, print media, all over the country, and it's to promote teaching the general public how to maneuver around commercial motor vehicles. So it is to help the general public, whether it's your teenager starting to drive or would be my 80-year-old mother, renewing her, or even us commercial motor vehicle drivers, to remind us, watch each other's blind spots, don't pull over in front of us. So it's a huge campaign. It's free. It's online at FMCSA under safety. There's lots of material there that you could share with the kids, with schools, with learners, getting learners permits, any type of programs for safety, but it's all right there.
And one last recognition. I'm telling you, you're all over the news. You're one of the most famous people we've ever had on the show. I just wanted you to know that. But Women to Watch in Transportation Industry in 2022. How many titles? Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm rolling through your accolades and all these titles. The Women to Watch in Transportation in 2022 by the Women in Trucking? What an honor to be chosen for that as well, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that goes all the way from every C-suite back to back offices, and there were three drivers chosen this year on that list, and it's a. I think I probably boohooed quite a bit over that. That was a definite blessing. The only way we can do this out here is by spreading the word, whether it be trying to mentor to women, whether it be mentoring to the men, whether it be sharing the safety, whatever. It is what it is of everyday life. It's a lifestyle. We all know that, and it's a
I,
change.
I'll tell you, Ingrid, our image in trucking has to be it has to be improved. I believe the trucking industry as a whole needs to be improved. I think people need to not only look to us, but look up to us by what the professional drivers out there on the road do each and every day and how hard they work to make this a safe place to work in. It is probably the most dangerous place in the world to work, and they go out every single day and they do a great job. I find all of these associations, all of these organizations, and all of these things that you get involved in tells me thank you for doing such a fantastic job in raising the image of the industry because it is necessary, and I truly believe, Ingrid, people like you and women like you need to swarm to this industry to make it better. Don't you believe that women are going to make this industry even better than it ever has been before as they flock to it?
I agree, and thank you very much. That you got me there, Dave.
Well,
But yeah, I totally agreed. And it doesn't matter if it's a single mother, a widow, an empty nester. It doesn't matter the age. I mean, there's a 60-year-old lady right now that's just now starting her career in trucking. It's available. Whether you need to stay local, if you want to get out on the road and see the country, there's so many opportunities. And the career. Listen, I get paid the same thing the guys get paid. There's no question, doubt, no, bickering back and forth about it. So the career and being able to support your family, it's all there. Women have a place out here. We always have. It's just whether we choose to take it in the way that presents us in the light that we definitely have worked our way up to it, and we definitely have earned it.
yeah, I'll tell you, I've always stated and I've always believed that trucking has been the most equal pay for the equal job industry that there is out there. You get paid by the mile, and I don't care what you are, you get paid by the mile. And I think it's fantastic to know that if you want an equal opportunity employment, this is the place to come right away because this industry wants you here, and needs qualified, safe drivers. I want to make sure everybody understands qualified, safe drivers because it's primary. Ingrid, we do appreciate you coming on. We appreciate what you do, and we appreciate everything about you in this industry. We look forward to seeing you again. And before you go, I ask all our guests to state their name, who they're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me?
I most certainly can. I'm Ingrid Brown. I'm the host of America on 18 Wheels, and I am the owner of Rolling B LLC. And you are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Thank you very much, Ingrid. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
All
Appreciate you
right.
having me on.